evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Here are the top stories making headlines in our news tonight. EDITH NAWAKWI dragged to court for threatening violence on the HATEMBO siblings. President HH criticized over foreign trips amid economic challenges. ECL asked the court to dismiss a petition challenging his eligibility to contest elections. In international news, Israeli tanks besiege Gaza's Indonesian hospital. And in sports news, soccer fans urge the CHIPOLOPOLO technical bench to work on the defense. Do join me with the details after this.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mosi Road in Ibex Hill, fourth close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
And now with the news in detail, my name is Sylvia Zulu. Residents of Lusaka's Kabanana Ward 27 are concerned with poor workmanship on the drainage system in the area. The angry residents say they are living in fear for their lives and property should the rain start before their concerns are attended to. Meanwhile, Area Councillor Joseph Katongo says he has engaged the engineering department at the Lusaka City Council to visit the area, but no response has been given.
Residents of Lusaka's Kabanana Ward 27 in Mandevu constituency are living in fear of a possible disaster should the rains start any time from now. This is because of poor workmanship on this drainage system, which directs water to people's houses.
Mankote sote kalinazo pa manyumba yatu so manje mfula ikabwera twatu manyumba twatu mankote tinchitula kupanyika
manzi ayonse no atadaivetu kwapola kuma nyumba y'abantu so last year nyumba yanga inagwa manje apa mwezi akala wesi so tifuna ti drainage waikonzi wa ZNS yende kwani tifuna tiyende kuja ngati wakangiwa then watipase mpamvu tikumbeteka ife
kuno Kabanana siwatikira konze ndife tinawaika pa mpando pacha pakuti wazinkala badali nkombo ndife tinawaika pa mpando so bafunika kutiyanganirako kuno Kabanana i drainage hii izayononga iwanaika ku manyumba yatu ku yazayonongeka ero ya manzi amene apita apa yapita pa nyumba panga yaononga vonse napwanya na toilet yanga kuchi
ansela baenda kubaendera kubauza kuti EIS mufunika sibenzo funika kukumba kwenda so but sibamvera so se tipempa ngati vomekeze tikumbe teka tuka manzi amativuta ngati ndine manzi amazunguluka yadiyanga yonse panga chape manzi
ponenga ndayandi pali bana amenshi nebwe nganda yandinda yawa aho boma ikankulira mumuntu adeshepe nebo ndi mukotenda sunga nabana banshiwa upo bali nanga abantu bali pano na masochi bali pamaliro
Some residents spoken to by this reporter vowed to vote for a new chain of leaders if this issue is not addressed before the onset of the rains.
Ngati ni so vote sasa kaionapo kuno Kabanana kuliba wina kwadaza kona vote ndise mphamvu zatu ndisitaita kutuwa kondwesa wajoto ankalipa mpando fuka chaise vantu kuno Kabanana so ngati sati kondweresa kuno naise vuchite vatu azaviwona kusogolo vati zachita so sati pempa atitandizileko pa manzi pa drainage atikile konzelu.
Meanwhile, Area Councillor Joseph Katongo says he has engaged relevant authorities several times to no avail. He too says President Hakainde Hichilema, Lusaka Mayor Chilando Chitangala, Area Member of Parliament Christopher Shakafuswa, together with himself, do not deserve the people's vote should this poor workmanship cause a disaster to his people.
So, what ZNS did, when they were putting up culverts, without even consulting the local leadership, they went ahead and they had put up a culvert there at a private property to put up a culvert. So what was so difficult for ZNS to take the culvert they had put there, to put it even here, or even at Highland? So my humble appeal is, let the right thing be done. If the right thing won't be done, the people of Kabanana, ine ndipanshi nga kansela wenu, ndipanshi mwe bantu ba Kabanana. If the right thing won't be done, pali road, and if we are going to have a disaster, kuno, ba president not kubavotera, ba MP not kubavotera, ba mayor not kubavotera, na ine wine kansela not kumvotera because we have failed you.
Not too long ago, Kawata Member of Parliament Andrew Taengwa castigated the Lusaka City Council's engineering department for lack of project monitoring in the city. For now, all the residents hope for is that this is corrected before the rains begin or they lose property or even life. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Street children and adults domiciled at Lusaka's Independence Avenue, Bama Road Junction have shared chilling life experiences that have led them to the streets. Speaking in separate interviews with Camnet News, they have mainly attributed being found on the streets to lack of empowerment and unforeseen circumstances. Group leader Michael Zulu from Eastern Province explains that he was robbed during his business trip to Lusaka but could not find work or empowerment, thus resorting to begging. The government, however, prohibits alms given to individuals on the streets as it perpetuates the problem and feeds into bad habits such as drug and alcohol abuse.
It is a sport which has increasingly been turned into home for street children and adults. From taking naps at Lusaka's government complex to the intersection of Independence Avenue and Bama Roads, asking for alms, the area is bustling with these individuals, some with children on their backs. This reporter Monday visited the area to have first-hand stories from the individuals who have turned this sport into home and a workplace. Leader of the group is Michael Zulu. His alibi, he came from Eastern Province of Zambia and got stranded in the city, ending up here. Mr. Zulu, like all the rest, could not speak on camera.
Nabwera as a business. Nabwera kumaoda. So after nabwera kumaoda manje vija. Nabopeza kati nafika usiku pa station paneni nafikira bananse chandrama. Ona bopeza kati nilibe no coin.
Mr. Zulu says efforts to get help failed, but he's ready to go back home to his family and mother who looks up to him back in Eastern Province.
Kumunzi. Nasi ya family. Nasi ya bana, nasi ya wakazi, na ma parents balikuwa nene kuja. In fact na ma parents bachitira depend muri. Ningafune chechikuru ningafune chetandizo yakuti nibwereremo kumunzi.
For Nelia Nyirenda, she has been on the streets since 7 when both her parents died. Now with 2 children, she is still on as promises for empowerment never materialize.
So ngafuna kwa mwantanzi yako na mbugulisa kwa mwantanzi kwa business nezogulisa kumanda batwa kanso ababa ntengera afa ntenga ndepena speza ku.
Michael Mlenga is a child but well advanced in drug abuse. He admits it made him fail to stay at the child shelter and cries to go back home on the Copper Belt.
Nalikala kuguru ba Jasper. Nalikala kuguru ba Jasper gaye abanandi. Tule nalite mosana ka fighting. Kaino ndo boxing. Na gado na de umama.
Munampo chibolia.
Fona shubanda gayo fufya ndongo fona ishire budokamani.
For advocates for child justice, ending the scourge of children living on the streets needs collective action and full implementation of the Children's Code Act number 12 of 2022.
To include deliberate initiatives that actually involve parenting skills training that actually ensures that parents are better caregivers to these children and that ensures that they actually don't end up on the streets. we also recognize that fighting streetism requires a multifaceted approach, which includes policy improvement as well as improved budget allocation.
Regardless of the basis of the alibi here, it is true that the situation they found themselves is inhumane, and it is hoped that interventions would be fine-tuned to end the scourge of street children and adults, especially for those who are ready for a fresh start. For now, survival continues on the streets against government's policy of soliciting or giving arms to such individuals, as the proceeds are usually used for wrong reasons. For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
The Youth Life Project has called for more funding to the Drug Enforcement Commission in order for it to effectively fight drug abuse in communities. Project Director Mike Nkosi says currently the Commission has no capacity to deal with drug abuse due to many factors, among them inadequate funding and lack of manpower. In Zambian communities, many youths have become drug addicts due to unemployment, lack of education on the dangers of drugs and peer pressure, among other reasons.
Zambia, like many African countries, is facing a problem of drug and alcohol abuse, especially among the youth. Alcohol and marijuana are reported to be the most abused drugs, followed by volatile solvents and hard drugs such as heroin and cocaine. In many communities, youths have become drug addicts due to unemployment, lack of education on the dangers of drugs, and peer pressure, among other reasons. The Youth Life Project Director, Mike Nkosi, has called for more funding to the Drug Enforcement Commission in order for it to effectively fight drug abuse in communities.
We are calling on government to just increase funding to Drug Enforcement Commission. This is our observation as an organization. Why? Because we see how much efforts that they could put in to want to address these issues or to want to fight the war against drug and substance abuse. But the limitation has been on the resource part, because there have been instances where we've actually taken the youth to DEC for counseling, and maybe you can literally tell they are understaffed because most officers are in the field or something like that, or even just when it comes to capacity building, there's need for DEC to be funded enough so that organizations like ourselves that are actually willing to even come to the fore and fight this battle together are adequately equipped, adequately supported, adequately capacitated.
Mr. Nkosi has also emphasized the need for more rehabilitation facilities in the country.
We need a facility, we need a rehabilitation center as the youth, because you see, I don't think it's fair. I actually don't even think it's enough for DEC to be just rounding up the so-called junkies or the so-called youth that are under the intoxication, then take them to prisons or these other spaces. That's not solving the issue, because if that is being done, then we are waiting for the youth to waste after wasting so that we take them to prisons. They don't belong to prisons. First of all, addiction is a sickness and not a criminal offense.
Drug abuse is becoming an increasing problem in Zambia, with studies indicating that the country is among the top nations in Africa, with people, especially youths, abusing drugs. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Outspoken social commentator Proud Sichaba has urged the police to use the newly acquired vehicles under the Constituency Development Fund (CDF) to end criminal gangs popular as junkies. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News Monday afternoon in Lusaka, Mr. Sichaba, popular as Dr. Proud, says it is unacceptable that a functioning country with an elected government such as Zambia has unruly people being called junkies openly. He has since urged the police to put in place a mechanism for proper usage of the vehicles to avoid abuse, which may result in early damage.
So these junkies, they needed to have muabagwira majunkie mubapereka sometime mu independence, but many very serious bazienderatu ku prison. We want to also clean up in the garden. The more you have done in Chiboria, sir, those vehicles are there. They can round up all these junkies. Some of them, they got a pangas. Some of them, they got a weapon where we can't even see it at the daytime. You saw the crime which is being having day and night. People are going on the foot. Where those people stay, they stay in the compound, such as a garden. The same cleanup it was in Chiboria, we need it in the garden compound. Because those criminals now, they are shifting from Chiboria, come in the garden. We need the garden also to be synchronized with those vehicles. So I'm appealing on every Zambian, be it in Eastern Province, in Ruapura, use those vehicles. We don't want, there's the elected government issue. How do you tolerate the name of junkies? Mubarak with my junkies. No, that is time to finish the junkies. The same way government finished my own brothers, the name of junk, all those people who are still dreaming to steal or to.
The Lusaka High Court has ruled that the case involving businessman Shajek Kasanda and 4 others charged with espionage in connection with a theft goods scandal will be held in camera. Judge Ruth Chibabuka delivered the ruling on behalf of 2 other judges handling the case. The court has endorsed the state's submission that if the case is heard in open court, some of the evidence, if given in view of the public, may be prejudiced to the interest of the public and might risk the security of the country.
The Lusaka High Court has ruled that one of the country's high-profile cases involving businessman Shajek Kasanda and 4 others charged with espionage in connection with the KK Gold scandal will be held in camera. The ruling by the court follows the state's application to have the proceedings to be held privately on ground that some of the evidence, if given in view of the public, may be prejudicial to the interest of the Republic. This is in a matter in which Kasanda is jointly charged with Mahogan Airline Chief Executive Officer Dr. Jim Belem, Commercial Pilot Patrick Kawanu, Francis Mateo, a State Security Officer, and Robinson Monga, a police officer, with 1 count of espionage in relation to the fake gold scam involving $5.7 million United States dollars. The accused are alleged to have on the 13th of August 2023 at Kenneth Kaunda Airport, whilst acting together, entered the said protective place for purposes that were prejudicial to the safety and interest of the Republic of Zambia. Meanwhile, the state has slapped Kasanda with another charge of fraudulently dealing with minerals. The accused have all pleaded not guilty to the offense. Delivering the ruling Monday morning, November 20, 2023, on behalf of the High Court judges Charles Zulu and Stumbeko Chocho, Judge Ruth Chibabuka said the state's submission to hear the matter in private is sufficient for the court to grant an order for the case to be heard in camera. Taking into account the state's further submission that if the court proceed to hear the matter in open court, this might have a risk on national security. Portion of a case held in camera are held in private before a judge where the press and the public are not allowed to take part. This means the media will not be allowed to cover the proceedings. Miriam Kaemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Former Republican President Edgar Lungu has asked the Constitutional Court to dismiss the case where he has been petitioned by a youth activist on the basis that he is not eligible to contest any future elections. The former head of state tells the court that the dissenting judgment that was passed in 2021 by a single judge that he was not eligible to contest does not represent the majority opinion. He argues that the petitioner should not base his argument on the dissenting judgment earlier passed. In this case, Michelo Chizombe has filed a petition in the Constitutional Court declaring that 6th President Edgar Lungu was not eligible to stand in the 2021 presidential elections and is not eligible to contest any future elections.
Zambia's 6th Republican President Edgar Lungu has responded to a petition that is challenging his eligibility to contest any future elections. The former head of state has been petitioned by a youth activist, Michelo Chizombe, in the Constitutional Court, who is seeking a declaration that the former head of state was not eligible to stand in the 2021 presidential elections and is not eligible to contest any future elections. However, in response to this petition against him, the former president urges the court to dismiss the case on grounds that the dissenting judgment that was passed in 2021 by a single judge that he was not eligible to contest does not represent the majority opinion. He further submits that the Constitutional Court previously pronounced itself on Article 35 of the Constitution of Zambia, 1991, as amended in 1996, which was repealed by the 2016 amended Constitution, and that he has not served 2 terms as alleged by the petitioner. This is not the first time the former head of state's eligibility to run for the president has been questioned. The Constitutional Court has been asked to consider this matter twice before. In both instances, the court declared him eligible, stating that his first term from 2015 to 2016 did not constitute a full term as it was an inherited term, owing to the death of the country's 5th president, Michael Sata. However, Chizombe, who has also cited the Electoral Commission of Zambia and the Attorney General, has responded, argues that it was unconstitutional for the Electoral Commission of Zambia to accept Mr. Lungu's nomination during the 2021 general elections under review, arguing that the former head of state was not eligible because he was sworn in twice as Republican president in 2015 and 2016. Additionally, contends that the repealed Article 35 of the 1996 amended Constitution excluded a person who had been elected twice from contesting presidential elections. As for now, it is unclear how the country's Constitutional Court will rule on the matter. Miriam Kaemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Forum for Democracy and Development President EDITH NAWAKWI has been dragged to court for allegedly threatening violence against the famous HATEMBO siblings. The opposition has been slapped with 4 counts of abduction and threatening violence. Allegations are that Ms. NAWAKWI, between August 31st, 2021 and September 1st, 2022, threatened to kill Feluna HATEMBO and Milton HATEMBO, to which she said she was going to kill them by chopping their heads off if you tell anyone whatever they discussed. In other counts, allegations are that the accused on the same dates abducted Feluna HATEMBO and Milton HATEMBO from Choma to Lusaka with intent to cause them to be secretly and wrongly confined against their wishes. The matter came up before Lusaka Chief Resident Magistrate Davis Chumbwili, who allocated it to Army Masoja. In other news, Zambia Must Prosper ZMP party is shocked by what it terms President Hakainde Hichilema's prosperity for foreign travel at the time the country is grappling with serious social and economic challenges. ZMP spokesperson Traimo Mwenda says the party is disappointed that at a time when leaders of some neighboring countries with similar financial problems like Zambia are banning foreign travel for their ministers and themselves to save money, our president has chosen to continue wasting the little resources available. Mr. Mwenda has appealed to President Hichilema to heed pleas from various sections of society to cut down on the costly foreign trips which are only benefiting him and members of his entourage through hefty allowances and private dues.
Must prosper. We are shocked at President Hakainde Hichilema's propensity for foreign trips at a time Zambia is grappling with serious social and economic challenges. It is disappointing that at a time leaders of neighboring countries such as Malawi are cutting off foreign trips for their ministers and for themselves. Now we see the opposite in our country Zambia, where President Hakainde Hichilema has continued with his fruitless trips to foreign countries. We want to condemn this. This is not supposed to be the case. Recently, President Hakainde Hichilema went to Saudi Arabia, where he came with nothing. And now we have seen the president travel to Germany with a huge entourage who want just to benefit from heft allowances at the expense of the majority suffering Zambians. This is not supposed to be the case. If you look at the issue of CDF, some constituencies are receiving their 2022 CDF now in November 2023. We want to challenge President Hakainde Hichilema to channel such funds to very important sectors of our economy, such as health, education, and so forth.
Lunte Member of Parliament Mutotwe Kafwaya has challenged the government to try the Kasanda goat scam case in public if it is free of wrongdoing. Mr. Kafwaya has noted with concern the recent request by the state to hold the case in secret when the matter is of public interest. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News, the Lunte lawmaker has argued that there are a lot of speculations in the public domain implicating state officers in the case, and holding it in secret will justify the allegations.
Surely, who are you protecting? This thing is for the public. This problem has arisen because the Zambian people have been disadvantaged by crooks. Now you want to go and talk about issues or criminality of these crooks in secret. What is that? I think like one of my brothers normally saying, Sonia Ubuntu, for some reason, the government should just be ashamed and do the right thing. I think that we are all interested, the Zambian public is interested. We need to know the content of the entire value system in this scandal. The Zambian people should be told the truth. We should be told the truth so that we become aware to what extent UPND government has become a thieving government. At what level these thieves are being aided. So I think it is important that government publicize all these issues, failure to which we are going to speculate that very high-ranking members of government or government players are involved. This is why they fear to be disclosed.
You are watching the main news on Camnet TV. We now take our first set of commercials. Do join me with more news after the break.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palavana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
On Monday, 20th November 2023, join Pastor Moses Chiluba on National Matters with his guest, Honorable Cornelius Muitwa, Minister of Information and Government Spokesperson.
We are heeding to the demands of our electorates. The President has been telling the citizens that you are our masters, we are the servants. Which servant gets shy to take an instruction from their master?
As they discuss the state of the nation of Zambia. Watch and subscribe to Camnet Television Network on DSTV channel 274, GoTV Channel 25, Top Star Channel 106.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, and text messages.
Camnet Television, your #1 community station in Zambia. This is your channel of choice. Camnet TV.
Not just another channel.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We now continue with more news. Government says it took the Access to Information Bill ATI to Parliament because it has nothing to hide, unlike the previous regimes. Ministry of Information and Media Permanent Secretary Thabo Kawana says the UPND introduced the bill to Parliament in 2002 while in opposition. He said that the previous regime also feared that the Access to Information law would endanger national security. He disclosed that the Access to Information Bill presented to Parliament has provided for exemptions of information that borders on national security. Mr. Kawana said this when he appeared before the Parliamentary Committee on Media, Information and Communication Technologies, chaired by Honorable Raphael Mabenga.
I think, as previously stated in my opening remarks, Chair, that the ATI law is something that this administration, even in its days of opposition, where the people that even introduced it to Parliament in November of 2002, by then MP for Livingston for UPND, and therefore it is safe to state that it is a law that this administration in opposition had interrogated and understood. Secondly, there were fears by previous administrations. And among those fears, you had fears like that Access to Information law will endanger national security. However, Chair, it is safe to state that the bill has now provided for exemptions of information that borders on national security. And also, Chair, the fear that Access to Information law will be expensive to the country is equally unjustified because the cost of implementing the law cannot be compared to the amount of public resources that will be saved as a result of enacting this law. So, to cap it, when the Honourable Member asks to say, why did the previous regimes not enact its law? If I were to use one word, Chair, I would say they feared. They feared because chances are very high that the previous regimes had a lot to hide from the public.
Zambia's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Masenje Mazoka, has urged UK investors to open up to opportunities in Zambia, saying this is the right time to invest in the country. Speaking during a Westminster Africa Business Group lunch, the High Commissioner said Zambia is open for business and advised those seeking to expand or deepen their investments into the country to seize the day. She informed the group of the trade, business and investment opportunities in Zambia's key sectors like agriculture, with 75 million hectares of land classified as having medium to high potential for agricultural production, energy, manufacturing, tourism and mining. She outlined Zambia's mineral endowments in gold, zinc, lead, iron, nickel, uranium, manganese and gemstones, which present excellent investment opportunities in extraction and processing.
To give investors comfort. Free facilitation for application of immigration permits, secondary licenses, land acquisition and utilities. In addition to that, there are investment opportunities using the public-private partnership avenue, as we are promoting private sector investment in infrastructure. Large-scale PPPs are being undertaken in infrastructure developments such as the Chingola, Solwezi, Lumwana, Jimbe freight railway line, which is underway, and the Bangwelu solar PV plant housed in the Lusaka South Multi-Facility Economic Zone area. So the government recognizes the importance of collaboration and partnerships and is calling upon businesses and investors to come in and collaborate or partner with the government in any of the different sectors that were mentioned above. And there are many more, actually. So quite a lot of opportunities there. So Zambia is very much open for business. Your business, our business. The Zambian High Commission in London is on hand to facilitate connections between investors and the government of Zambia through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. We look forward to serving and working with you to build. So do get in touch, tell us your interests, open up to the opportunities in Zambia.
Minister of Education Douglas Siakalima has warned 2023 grade 12 pupils at Kamwala Secondary School in Lusaka that the risk being searched should investigations prove that they are behind the fire that burnt structures at the school. Mr. Siakalima has described the burning of the head teacher's office, school bus and Zamtel tower control system as detrimental to national development, especially in the education sector. Zanis reports that the minister said this when he toured the school in the company of Lusaka District Commissioner Rosa Zulu, the provincial and district education board secretaries and other government officials. Mr. Siakalima, however, said the fire incident at Kamwala Secondary School is still under investigations. Mr. Siakalima said it is unfortunate that unknown people are frustrating the efforts of the government by destroying public infrastructure such as schools, which are meant to shape the future of the children in the country. When addressing the members of staff at the school, Mr. Siakalima wants teachers and other public workers to resist being politically inclined by not holding any political position in any political party. This is the main news on Camnet TV. We now take our final break. Do join me with international and sports news after this.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, fourth close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you for still staying with us. And now in international news, Israel is carrying out further bombing attacks across the Gaza Strip. Israeli tanks have surrounded northern Gaza's Indonesian hospital after artillery fire killed at least 12 Palestinians in the complex, according to the Wharton Enclave's Ministry of Health. Ashraf Al-Qudro, Gaza's health ministry spokesperson, told Al Jazeera on Monday that the situation is catastrophic in the Indonesian hospital where hundreds of people remain trapped. We monitored African news.
A first since his return to Chad on November 3rd, opposition leader Succès Masra spoke to hundreds of supporters in N'Djamena. The Le Transformateur party chief had left Chad along with other opposition leaders after demonstrations held last year to protest military rule were violently repressed. On Sunday, Masra called for reconciliation. I want you to know that we went out because of justice and equality, to carry your voice. And we have returned today with the same conviction and the same determination to fight to make justice and equality a reality in this country of ours. Officially, about 50 people were killed in protests last year. The opposition and independent observers said at least 300 had been killed on October 20 after transitional President Mohamed Deby went back on his word to hold elections. Masra told the crowd not to seek revenge. Our doors are open, our hearts are open, and I would like you to open yours as well to continue the dialogue, so that this transition, which took off in April 2021 and went through a period of extreme turbulence in 2022, particularly on October 20, that this transition can land in 2024 at the airport of democracy, where, for the first time, Chadians will choose their leader in an inclusive manner and freely. Masra returned home after reaching an agreement with the military regime. The rest of Chad's opposition, many of whose leaders remain in exile, have denounced the deal. A constitutional referendum is scheduled for next month.
Attacks on a hospital while 700 patients and thousands of civilians seek refuge in the compound. Early on Monday, Israeli airstrikes and artillery shelling hit the Indonesian hospital in northern Gaza. Victims are piling up on the floor, desperate for their voices to be heard.
I appeal to the whole world, all those who are watching, to have mercy on us, to lend us a helping hand. I appeal to the Arab and Western countries to stand by our side. God is on our side. We seek support from the people of the world, the leaders. I appeal to Mr. Putin and Mr. Macron to intervene and lend us a helping hand.
The hospital was already overwhelmed with the wounded and other civilians seeking safety. Medics are now treating the injured on the floor. No medicine, no electricity or anesthetics. It's a near impossible task here. The Israeli army has laid siege on the hospital. Several people inside were killed during the attacks and many more injured. Medics say they won't leave the hospital until it is safe to do so.
We are holding our ground. We are not leaving until a safe passage is provided to all patients, wounded and civilians sheltering here. Then the medical staff can leave. Shelling is intense and indiscriminate on the hospital building, at the entrance and on the windows. All those in the hospital have gathered in the center of the main building. As a medical team, we cannot perform any of our duties.
The attacks on the Indonesian hospital came just days after hundreds of patients and medical teams were forced to leave Gaza's largest hospital, Al Shifa. Those who have hoped to be treated in the hospital are now leaving to save their lives. And the civilians who fled their homes, believing that hospitals and schools will be safe, once again have nowhere to go. Resul Sardar.
And now in sports news, CHIPOLOPOLO assistant coach Moses Sichone has declared the team ready ahead of tomorrow's 2026 World Cup qualifier against Niger. Sichone says the team is showing hunger to deliver a positive result. He says morale in camp is high and all players are fit to take the assignment, except Edward Chilufya, who is unwell and did not travel with the team to Morocco. Sichone says the team is working on some mistakes that were made in the previous game against Congo-Brazzaville. And team captain Lubambo Msonda says the team is physically and mentally ready for the clash. Still in sports news, some soccer fans in Lusaka have advised the CHIPOLOPOLO technical team to work on the team's defense and goalkeeping department ahead of a clash against Niger on Tuesday, November 21st. Zambia started their FIFA World Cup 2026 qualification race with a resounding 4-2 win over Congo-Brazzaville in their opening Group E match at the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium in Ndola. However, the 2 goals against Congo-Brazzaville have not settled well with the fans.
The Chipolopolo boys kicked off their 2026 World Cup qualification journey with a 4-2 win over Congo-Brazzaville at Levi Mwanawasa Stadium on Friday. Patson Daka scored a brace to guide Zambia to a comfortable win. After taking a 1-0 lead, Zambia put their foot off the gas for a bit and Congo-Brazzaville took over. The 2 goals scored in a space of 1 minute have concerned some soccer fans.
Timu yatu ifenga defense munga mwakambira chibambire kafenga bafakira kwa manindinzi mwaisiba so fenga just because atia ibora au uchite waona pa mazina kuti bapasira ndani ndiyaza pangazina afenga cha kutia cha coding chebora kutia batia chemusho mwaisiba so la malo tifuna chetika bwanji tikawini na mailo
kole vuka kalipira ma defender unaona makemo na timu wesa pajati ngale 2-1 quick goals Imagine defender sasa. Kulipi? Mwaona? Striker mastrika tili na wewe.
Timu amentina hapa. Defense chebe ngako chenze defense. Timu ichemusha. Ma players tina chemusha.
Nevertheless, some fans are optimistic that the Chipolopolo will record another victory, this time against the menace of Niger.
Tifuna che tipitirize monga mwane tinachaira hapa. Tifuna che nai yaine ibwera hapa. Tifuna tikawine vambiri no tina tumono. Uyu coach waine abwera uyu ni mukali ni mbama ndio waine tifuna. Tifuna che apitirize sochi. Tinachaya mushe bora hapa. Nai yaine ibwera yaine tichaya tifuna tikawine. At least tifikeko ku World Cup. Game antina yanti ndo chaya ya mai. Chitabani tifunika kuwina. Timu wanapanga mchemushi. Ma players tina mchemushi bachantibe batufana tibani. Na mailo tikawine mpaka tende kuti World Cup. Mpaka tikatenga World Cup.
Meanwhile, the Football Association of Zambia FAS has rewarded a Lusaka-based family with free tickets for all Chipolopolo 2026 World Cup home qualifier matches. Love Mokawata, his wife Christine, and brother Hens, popularly known as the Mpoto family, have been rewarded for their passionate support to the Zambia men's and women's national teams. Zambia will play Niger on Tuesday, November 21st in a 22 hours Central African time kickoff at the Grand Stade Marrakech Stadium in Morocco.
This time on the left-hand side, and he's just left it, but it is a goal!
Vincent Piri for Camnet Sports, Lusaka.
We've come to the end of our main news broadcast. Here are the top stories that made headlines. EDITH NAWAKWI dragged to court for threatening violence on the HATEMBO siblings. President HH criticized over foreign trips amid economic challenges. ECL asked the court to dismiss a petition challenging his eligibility to contest elections. In international news, Israel tanks besiege Gaza's Indonesian hospital. And in sports news, soccer fans urge the Chipolopolo technical bench to work on the defense. We now look at our Camnet verse of the day coming from the book of Psalms 133, verse 1. How good and pleasant it is when brothers live together in unity. That's it for our main news tonight. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Good night and God bless you.